Welcome back to Console Fanboys. I'm your host, The Gaming Rift, and today we have a pretty interesting story for you. So for context, IGN uploaded a tweet the other day saying that according to reports, PlayStation Network and all online game services relating to PlayStation are currently down, with no word as to whether they are going back up. Which is something that is very reassuring when you are giving a company your personal details, and then it randomly goes down with no word from the company as to whether it's going to go back up anytime soon. And before anyone says, well yes, but services go down every now and then for maybe half an hour, maybe 2 hours. No, PSN was down for 24 hours, with no word from the company as to what was going on. That's not a good thing. What's funny is that when PlayStation made a tweet about it, they said that network services have fully recovered from an operational issue. An operational issue? Are you kidding me? That's so fucking vague. You may as well have just said we pulled the plug or we slipped on a banana peel or some shit. Basically, PlayStation handled the situation very poorly. Not only did they keep their users and fanbase in the dark, but then when they actually gave a response, it was vague at best. Saying that, oh, there was just an operational issue, we're all good here, which is a fucking vague excuse if I've ever seen it. But anyways, Joe from Seattle, a YouTuber who I enjoy watching a lot, made a tweet responding to IGN saying, but remember, they gotta charge you for it, which is completely true. PlayStation is charging you to play your games online, and then the service has randomly gone down for 24 hours, which is not a good thing. And obviously, if we all banded together as a community to protest or demand better services, it would only get better for you as a consumer. But was that what the Sony ponies did? Of course not. You instead have PlayStation fanboys bending over backwards, desperately trying to defend Sony, in a situation that quite literally affects them from playing their games, which is all the more proof that you need to confirm that PlayStation 5 fanboys don't actually play games. They just spend all day on Twitter ranting about games. Daily Weedman says, show me a service that has 100% uptime, mate, which is fucking deflection if anything else, and not at all a fair comparison, especially since generally when a utility goes off in your house, you know, the water goes down, the gas goes down, the electricity goes down. Generally, you are given a heads up by, you know, the council, and you're given an estimated time as to whether it will get fixed or not, and when it will get fixed. And sure, it might take an hour or so, but at the very least you're given communication by the company that runs it, which is something that you weren't given with PSN. The service went down for 24 hours, with PlayStation remaining radio silent until the following day. So again, how is this a comparable situation? Dark Blitzer comments, so in your world, anything that is charged for never breaks or go down? In my world, I don't pay to play my games online because I have more respect for myself as a consumer, and I also have more respect for my wallet. Like, yes, my internet doesn't always stay on, sometimes it goes down, and yes, it's very annoying, I'll give you that, but that is an issue that I myself deal with when the time comes. And also, my internet is the only thing I need to play my games online, whereas PSN users, and console users as a whole, basically add another step to the process. Not only do you need your online internet access, or broadband, to work, which is one step of the process, but then you're adding another step, that being you need Sony to get their shit together and make PSN work, and you need both of these to happen at the same time, otherwise you can wave bye-bye to playing your games online. And that's not a good thing. Halloween Goji responds, why are you acting like people only have multiplayer games? Which is probably the biggest PlayStation 5 fanboy comment we could have gotten, because obviously PlayStation is known for their solo, very immersive, very story-based games. So yeah, when I think of a PlayStation 5 fanboy, this is pretty much the comment I would have expected. Also, it's complete deflection and doesn't address the situation at all. The situation was handled poorly, and it's a situation that should never have happened to begin with. Oh, but this next one is fucking gold. You guys are gonna love this. Jason responds, you pay for internet, yet that goes down from time to time. You pay for water, yet that gets shut off from time to time. You pay for electricity and gas, yet that gets shut off from time to time. Hey Genius, those are things that you need to survive, especially in the modern world. Like, are you seriously comparing PlayStation Network to running water? Running water is something that you need to survive as a human being. You quite literally would die in 3 days from dehydration if you don't have water. Like, honestly, this is confirming to me that PlayStation 5 fanboys are not human. The fact that you unironically need PlayStation Network to survive, otherwise you would die. And the funny thing is that, again, why are you comparing it to electricity? You do realize that without electricity, you can't play on your PlayStation 5, right? If you don't have electricity, yeah, you can wave bye-bye to playing your video games, mate. So why are you comparing it to that? Also, once again, you're ignoring the bigger problem, that being PC gamers don't need PlayStation Network in order to play their games online. Like, you yourself are just blatantly deflecting here. Also, you're just ignoring how poorly PlayStation handled this situation. They went radio silent to you, you weren't able to play your games online for the best part of 24 hours, and then when they actually do give a response, it's fucking pathetic. Like, you honestly need to look yourself in a mirror and ask why you defend these fuckers. And those are the responses that we got for the first half of this scenario, because Joe from Seattle made another comment responding to some guy's very baffling tweet. A user called Aimless tweets out a chart and says, almost every Tuesday, Steam goes down for worst case an hour in the past 7 years. That's 365 Tuesdays, so up to 360 hours in a year, it's been down in total. There was also a significant outage in 2018. So we're unironically comparing regular weekly maintenance on low user hours, because that's when Steam does their maintenance. We're comparing maintenance to PlayStation Network going down. First of all, not only is this fucking desperate, since you yourself acknowledge that yes, worst case scenario, Steam only goes down for an hour, unlike PlayStation Network, which went down for 24 hours in one weekend. But again, it boggles the mind that you're comparing regular maintenance, which is a good thing, to PlayStation dropping the soap and fucking over an online service that you have to pay for to play your games online. Get a fucking grip. Joe from Seattle responded to this tweet saying, today I learned a free service going down for routine maintenance and reliably coming back every time is somehow equivalent to a paid service shutting down with zero transparency to the customer about what's going on, whatever you have to do to defend the corporation. And did people take too kindly to this response? Well, you clicked on the video for a reason. This first one by Joseph just made me giggle. What do you mean a paid service? PlayStation Network and PlayStation Plus are two different things. You do know some online games don't need PlayStation Plus, right? Basically confirming that yes, some online games do need PlayStation Plus. And if the entire network went down, then wave goodbye to those online games. I love how even when you tried to defend Sony, you still managed to invalidate your argument. However, this Joseph guy wasn't done, and he posted a tweet saying, sit this one out, with a chart saying the top 30 websites experiencing the most outages in the United States, with Discord and Steam being at the very top. Now, for Discord, I can't really speak on because, number one, it's not really relevant to the topic of this video, but it's funny that you post Steam that high, because every time Steam goes down for regular maintenance for an hour every week at low playtime hours, they consider maintenance as an outage, which is why it's so high. But I love the fact that you're trying to demean Steam and prop up PlayStation when the largest DDoS account ever on Steam happened last year. And did any of you know about it? I'm willing to bet you didn't, because most people wasn't aware of it, and that's because of how good Steam's infrastructure is, versus PlayStation, where the entire thing goes down for 24 hours for seemingly no reason at all. You're comparing apples to oranges. Miller responds to Joseph and says, yes, that's because it counts Steam regular Tuesday maintenance as an outage, which is basically just what I said. So yes, he confirms that yes, that is how it works. Joseph replies and says, yes, because Sony does not have regular maintenance, the excuses you have to go through. Hey Joseph, do me a favor mate, when was the last time that Steam went down for 24 hours for seemingly no reason at all? Why don't you tell me when that happened last? The hilarious thing also is that even when Steam is down for maintenance, only a handful of games are actually affected, meaning that yes, even when Steam is down for maintenance, you can still play most of your games, but you probably don't want to talk about that. Phoenix basically comes in from Dumbledore's shoulder and says, yes, Sony has maintenance for the whole 24 hours sometimes, days at once, without communication. In April 12, 2021, PlayStation had an outage that lasted for 3 weeks. Steam's maintenance is communicated, affects nothing, and barely lasts for any time at all. And then he corrected himself and it was 2011, not 2021, but the point still stands. And then the final message from Joseph was just fucking funny, to be honest. He said that was frickin' 2011, 14 years ago, and it was an incident. It sucked, and PlayStation rightfully got bad rep for that. The recent outage was not just because of maintenance. If it was due to a change, they should be rightfully called out for it. So PlayStation should be called out for the recent maintenance and the recent outage and all the rest of it, but you're still gonna be on here damage controlling for Sony and trying to belittle things like Discord and Steam and use charts and all the rest of it in order to prop up PlayStation. This is the telltale sign of someone who just has no more arguments left and he just has to admit defeat in this debate. Which, props to him at least. At the very least, he kind of admitted defeat and acknowledged that, yes, Sony should very much be held responsible for this. At the end of the day, you are giving a multi-billion-dollar company access to not only your private information, but you're also giving them this with the hope that you are getting something in return. And when that thing that you are given in return randomly goes off for hours, maybe days at a time, for seemingly no reason, and it is poorly communicated to you when the service is going back up, and it's also poorly communicated what the actual issue with the service was in the first place, especially since yes, Sony randomly plays Butterfingers with your own personal information sometimes, you really should just switch to PC gaming where you have to deal with none of that shit. I'm the Gaming Rift, I thank you all for watching this episode of The News with PlayStation Fanboys, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.